for. Okay. All right, well, I know my camera's up there, but anyway, welcome everybody. So I'm Katie Dudley and I'm the chair of the Parks and Trails Committee, and it is July 1st, 2024. In the room, we have myself, Rylan, Paul, Kevin, and then we have a couple guests. We have, is it pronounced Ari?
Ari, yes.
Okay, we have Ari Colas with Hamilton Real Estate Group. And then Tony, what's your last name?
Pelleggi.
Okay, and Tony Pelleggi is here with Leadership Greater Rochester. And Jason Baker is also present. And then we have Justin Black via Zoom. Okay. So I apologize, life has been way too busy, so I do not have an agenda for tonight, but we're just gonna kind of wing it here while I do the minutes. So I'm also lacking in minutes. So if you want to turn me in, Jason, and tell me not to come anymore, that'd be great. But
Oh, no.
No, it's okay.
You're not allowed more than that.
oh, okay, I have to mess up that much more. So those are in process. So what I would like to do is give Tony the floor first for Leadership Greater Rochester. I don't know how to get stuff up there, but we do have a wonderful presentation from April. When Kristen, I pronounce it Levesque?
Yep.
Okay, when Kristen came, it actually kind of looks a lot like this. So the signs that this is for the veterans program, but the back of your signs kind of look like this,
Very similar, yeah.
right?
Yep.
Great. So, I wonder if Tony, if you could just give us a brief background.
Sure.
And, because Paul wasn't here, Kevin, you were here for the presentation, I believe, in April.
Yep.
And Jason, you were here too, right? Yeah, so if you could just give us an update on, where you guys are at. I guess I should start with me first. Let me start.
Sure.
In April, Kristen was here. I thought as a Parks Committee, we could send it to council. And then, with our recommendation, council would say, okay. But then from what I understand is council had more questions. And so that's why I invited Tony here tonight to answer some of those questions. And the main questions would be the size of the sign, if there would be cost to the city. And do you guys have any other main questions for someone or not yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So Tony, go ahead and just let us know what you guys are up to.
Yeah, so we are through Olmsted County partnering with Credible Minds, which is a website that focuses on mental health. Part of that is we are wanting to do a kind of put up a sign or two, I forget how many off the top of my head.
Just one here.
Just one here, yeah. To promote the website, but also promote positive mental health and kind of almost a guided meditation walk through a park and the power of nature and a mental health journey. The sign would be 3 feet by 2 feet. It is being done by Shad Tracy. We are raising funds in hopes that we will be able to hand you guys some money to maintain the sign. So the cost would be as minimal as possible. And then Shad Tracy is providing us the sign.
Okay, and it's my understanding, I did get to visit with Kristen this afternoon. And at this point, you guys are set up to go to Stewartville, Byron.
Yep.
And then maybe Eota, but probably not Dover, just because they felt like they were too small or something.
Yeah.
Rearranging their parks or something?
The Dover's doing some rearranging and kind of reorganizing, so they wanted to hold off on doing anything like that.
Right, and when, it's not a fiscal year, but when is the year for these projects that you guys are working on?
Our year is calendar year, so December to December, but we've been working on this since November of last year.
Nice, okay.
We as a group leadership Greater Rochester, it starts kind of August, and then goes through, we just wrapped up May.
Oh, okay, so you're just kind of continuing on
Yep.
to,
So we will see this project through to the end.
nice, okay. Kristen was even mentioning, after the signs are made and put up, that there was gonna be a 5K.
That is what we are planning on doing that, yep,
And would that be in Rochester probably, or?
probably, yeah.
That's exciting, okay. All right. So as a Parks and Trails Committee, we are a recommending group of people. And then it does go to council again. And that would be July, what day is the next one? The question, but
The 18th, it looks like.
18th of July?
Third Tuesdays.
Okay,
That's June.
That's June.
this is what happens. This is why we have meetings once a month. So that I can be the one to change the calendar. That's why we meet on the first Monday. All right, so the 16th. All right. So on the 16th of July, we'll be bringing it to council again in May. There was a packet that included Kristen's presentation in it.
Yep.
That went to council.
Yep.
So I don't know how I find out if we need to present that whole thing again, or,
Well, there's no discussion at council,
right?
because there's no second.
So what do you think we need to do July 16 to present it again?
Ask him for the agenda again. Be about the only thing you can do.
Right, and then do you have any questions for Tony or any of us? in the-
I only question why we put signs in our parks other than people are sponsoring certain things in our park.
So we've done it,
Like the flower thing. I
right,
get that. And I question whether or not we should be putting signs in our park, it's Orinoco, but this is Rochester leadership doing this out here.
but it's Olmsted County
I,
is where I'm looking at it, but that's okay.
you could call it southeastern Minnesota too, if something like that was out there.
Um,
So,
We also, it's leadership Greater Rochester, so we branch out past the Rochester area. I personally live in Byron and participate with things going on in Byron. We have a couple people from various areas within Olmsted County and the Greater Rochester area. So we were wanting to support not just Rochester, but the surrounding communities as well, because the surrounding communities are just as important as Rochester.
Can someone help me? Justin is muted. Can you guys unmute him? Justin, you can hear us, but you can't say anything, right? Yeah, we need to click on him, so he's a.
He has to-
I think I figured it out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Ryland, some exercise. All right, Justin, you can hear us now?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, do you have any questions for Tony?
Not really. I mean, it kind of makes sense to me what they're looking for.
Okay. Awesome. So we do have other signs at our parks that are the Zumber Watershed Partnership signs. And those we found were valuable for the city because of bringing people together, the whole watershed as a community. So just one sign in Orinoco Park is what they're asking for at this time by a trailhead. And it does have to go through us and city council. So at this time, I would make a motion to allow it going forward. And if we wanted to come up with something official, what I was talking with Renee about is, the Parks and Trails can only recommend things to city council, and then city council has to approve it. And if, city council has more questions, if they can let us know, when you guys get the agenda items, and then if you
Hey,
feel.
Katie,
Yeah,
would it be
It's-
possible if one of their representatives would be there if the council had any questions?
yeah, what do you think, Tony?
We should be able to get somebody here to,
Because there's-
whether it's myself or Kristen or somebody else, yes, we should be able to get somebody here.
Cause you have 3 or 4 people in the group?
We are a group of 12 to 15.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so we have we have plenty of people throughout, that can come and present or answer questions if need be.
Okay, awesome.
Are you looking to do any more signs or just pretty much one sign per, in a park per city? Or what's your ultimate goal?
Well, our ultimate goal is to promote mental health.
Well, no, but I mean, as far as
Sure.
how many signs, we're
Yeah.
thinking of trying to, I mean, put up a lot more signs in one
We'd like
like
to get,
any.
yes, ultimately, we would like to get more, and we've raised funds to do that, but we also understand communities have only so much space, so we don't want to
Hmm.
take up every ounce or every square inch of space for just us. So we're making sure we're being conscious of that. We would do more, but we also have to consider our funds too, as we do it.
Okay, so I make a motion to bring it to council, to recommend putting up a sign at Orinoco Park.
I'll second it, Katie.
Justin's gonna second it, thank you. All right, any,
Is his, where he's at, is that posted on him that he's here?
no, so maybe Kevin wants to second, because that's how we work
Somebody
around
here
here.
seconded.
Justin, they're questioning the validity of Zoom these days, because it's not 2020 anymore. But I
Okay,
appreciate that you're here, so keep talking to us.
even though I'm in my living room, I'm still a member of the committee.
It's not that, it's not them questioning Steve. It's that in order for him to be part of the public meeting, it has to be posted 3 days in advance that he's gonna be where he's at as to part of this meeting.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll second.
All right, so Kevin second that we should bring it to council. All right, and Rylan, how do they do it? I've noticed in city council meetings that there is an audience. There are a couple times where the camera points to them, or how does that work?
They come to the podium.
And then when they're on the podium, they can be seen?
Yeah.
Oh, I see, okay. Or like that.
We can
But
switch.
you're good,
Yeah, I
you're
was
good.
gonna say, I can stand at the podium too.
Yeah, okay. All right. All of those in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Okay, all right. Now, if there's one no and two ayes, is that a motion carry?
We don't have a.
We don't know, yeah.
We have a quorum, there's three of us, that's all we need,
Somebody's on the committee.
five.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so three is all we need, for something to move forward, but it still has to go to council. Okay, Paul? Okay,
For those.
all right, but then do I say motion carry? If there's one name,
Approved, yeah.
okay. Thank you. All right,
Rather want to raise the camera up a little bit. Blinding spot there at the bottom of the screen.
oh, no. All right,
Didn't know he did extra light.
It's just
I love it, okay, so at this time, I would like to invite Ari Colas, is that how you say your name?
Yeah.
All right, come on up and say hello, introduce yourself.
Just, I think I know most of you anyway, I know Jason and everything like that. Just came just in case you guys had any questions about the housing development we're doing just north of the gas station up there. North of the new restaurant, Cedar Crest Point. We presented since about December numerous times at other boards and other planning and zoning, city council meetings, neighborhood meetings, a couple. Thought you guys might have questions for us, whatever, since we are adding a bike path and stuff tying into the existing bike path. And coming in, which will ultimately tie into Second Avenue, I guess, so. I've got I brought one drawing here if you want to see it, but rough idea. I know, Paul, you've seen it a few times, I
I've seen
think, for sure.
That I haven't seen.
Yeah, here I can,
So Ari, when you say bike paths, is that the one that's discussed regarding River Park Place Southeast
I'm not
or no?
sure what you guys call it there and stuff, but kind of the bike path, I guess, kind of goes here, then ties in here and then we'll.
Is it-
that way. I'm not sure the exact name of which division.
Remember that email we've been getting about River Park Place Southeast? That's a different location?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's what I need to know.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think it was.
Well, the city does have a parkland ordinance.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If I recall right, the city has a parkland ordinance for new developments, but not so certain where that lays today.
So,
It's been a while since I've heard anybody talk about it, so.
so the last I've heard is we have too many parks. So there is one development, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's one development up top over there. River Bend was able to just give some money towards something for the city instead of having an official park.
Right.
I apologize, Ari, I'm not familiar with this,
No,
so if you could tell me more, that would be
I
great.
mean, it's just basically, we're gonna do it in 3 phases. This is similar to what
Okay.
he's doing there. We're starting from over here because that's where all the sewer is, from the west side. And
Okay.
we're slowly adding lots of our those. So the bike, trail, I guess there's an existing one up here. We're gonna tie into that.
This is,
These are,
This is-
these are
Right
four
here,
parks.
and then tie in so people can get a second, that's the existing bike path.
These are gonna be.
So the existing bike path goes to River Park, and I don't see River Park on here.
Yeah, it might be further off of the screen there. So,
Okay,
so the bike trail, you're right, there's one up here we're gonna tie into and continue all the way down here. So then you have access out the second, which I guess has been part of your plans over the years according to the engineers in the city.
This right here is where that drain field is, correct?
Yep.
and Justin, do you have any questions on this stuff?
It's gonna come up across that drain field.
I guess so.
Okay.
Yep.
Can I keep this one? All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's
So,
kind of
so
our
what's
phase.
happening? You're talking
So
about,
there's a bike path coming from here. I think you guys have an
Oh,
existing bike path.
Timberline.
And then we're just gonna tie into and make a new one. Run it all
Oh,
the
so
way
that's the one where it comes out and dead end, it's dead end right up
along
here right
that
now,
one.
right?
Yep.
And then tie in the new road that one
Then they're
up
gonna
second. Which is what everyone's told us.
Bigger
that's where you
lots,
want
housing
your
out here.
connectivity to
The way it was
be.
originally figured.
so where's gas and
They were
go?
gonna.
Yes, and go is right here.
I was gonna say,
And
not
then
even
that's
on
right
it.
here. Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
on
goes
it.
here.
Wow, this is,
So this is the lumber yard right over here across the street there. That side of it.
yes, okay. So this
So
is
we're gonna
really
build
tucked
a new
in.
roll.
Yeah, large lots
It's-
back here.
I believe-
Large lots.
So that.
Yeah,
right.
they have made this Timberline Drive southeast when they did the sewer line there.
Yeah,
That's why that's
eventually
drawn in.
coming out, so we'll
What-
be tying
what are
in and
the
adding all the new sewer and infrastructure.
Housing prices on these things.
Interesting.
What
what did you say This will be an actual road or this
Yeah,
will be?
no, it will be a road bed, and in the first
Okay.
phase, if
Like
you're
over
yellow,
there.
we will be building that road that tie in.
Cedar
Hey,
Ridge.
Katie,
Wasn't-
Yes, Justin.
Wood Hills.
I don't have anything to see here, but is there going to be a path that kind of plugs into the existing path running down through Cedar Woodlands? It kind of comes, right now, there's a kind of a service road that goes over to the septic drain field.
Oh, so
Then
the
I'm
service
assuming-
road is way different than the road to the park.
There should be like down the cul-de-sac from Cedar Woodlands, there's a trail that runs down, and along the river and into the park. And then kind of where those trees are, just to the north of our development, there's a little trail that kind of runs back to the drain field. I'm just wondering, is that going to be, will there be a paved trail there that kind of will allow that new development to kind of walk down and kind of meet up with the trail, so they don't all have to come up kind of through our neighborhood down the street and then plug into the trail from our cul-de-sac?
Okay,
It's kind of hard for me to explain it if I'm not there.
That
No,
makes
that's
sense,
fair.
though. I know what you're saying. I understand that. But yeah, I agree. You don't want anybody that's coming up into that dead end and jumping on the trail there. And yeah,
neighborhood like?
I guess I understood what
Okay,
he was saying.
Well, I'd rather see people walking on trails than on streets.
Yeah,
I just don't want to, keep as much foot traffic off the streets as possible and keep them to the trails that connect our parks together.
Yeah,
right, okay.
absolutely.
So in my minutes, would I be saying that there's gonna be a trail to connect to River Park or a trail to connect? What, what are we saying here, Ari?
I'm not sure exactly where the trail goes after we look into it there. I'm not sure what you call it. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm not educated about the name of the trail. Do you know, Jason, or?
We've been trying to name trails, but we decided that
I'm
it's
not sure
complicated.
which direct, it ties into the existing one and then we'll tie into second as we go.
Do we even have a map of our trails around town? For here?
In here? Let's see, where's the biggest city map? So right here we have this, but it doesn't really have trails on it.
No, I don't think there's one.
There isn't, or is there?
It hardly even has parks on it.
So
I don't know.
ultimately, the engineers and your city planners and your city engineer have talked about it, and they're the ones who kind of worked out how it all ties together.
Right?
We hire the experts, so to speak, and let them work on it.
We know they have an easement along the river throughout River Park.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think that comes out up there.
yeah,
on
it
the
comes up.
backside of Timberline. On that back road that goes up into that last development of Cedar Woodlands.
Yeah, it comes up and dead ends right there at the
Cedar
cul-de-sac.
Woodlands, yeah.
Cedar Woodlands. Or that's where, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, at this time, Ari, like,
Just an update for you guys, really. I don't think
Sure.
there's any actionable things, but
Yeah,
how far along in the project are you? So you have
we
the
are
plan.
going, at the next planning and zoning meeting, we're kind of showing our preliminary plat of where all the lots are gonna be to start that process with variances and rezoning a part of it. And then hopefully the goal is then on July 16th to go to city council. And then probably mid-September, we'll have everything all finalized and maybe breaking ground September, like that, with grading and things. So it's still a long ways to go, but we're working with Jason and Joe Palin and Phil, the city planner, and Mayor Ryland. So we're slowly but surely working through it.
And can I invite you to come across the highway and put in a development so we have two ways out of where I live? It doesn't really work that way,
Maybe
does
time,
it?
maybe a year or two, no rush now, so. Never say never, but as of now, I can't promise anything, so.
I know, I don't even think the land's for sale. I don't know, Jason, but it's also not even in the city. So,
You're talking about going straight down to 100th Street.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, well,
Across from the equestrian
that was all
center.
supposed to be part of that development to start with.
yeah, it was supposed to be
Yeah.
the whole thing one time, yep.
In the
oh,
plan.
goodness sakes. All right.
I'll give you my card there too. I know Paul, you have it, I think, but just in case.
Thank you.
Just everything
No
south of
problem.
River.
Yeah.
Down to 100th.
Fantastic. Jason, did Ryland have to step out? Is he coming back?
Yeah, he left, he went back, he went home.
Okay, so he had to go. Okay,
Thank you.
all
guys.
right. Yeah, thank you, Ari, for coming to visit.
Of course.
Okay. So Riley needed to head out, so we won't have any updates on the Zumber Water Trail, which is fine. Maybe we'll get some information in
What else on the agenda?
August. So what happens at our meetings, Paul, is we end up talking about each park. So there's just a few things that I want to add. So and actually, Justin, I'm hoping you can help me with this since Ryland left, but just give me a minute. So Kevin, Lance, and Justin and Dawn and I have done some garlic mustard removal in Alice Park. Some of that has taken place, okay? It's still toes in here.
Yeah, those are.
Staples, I should have taken that out. Anyway, it might be a support thing. At Alice Park, we have been working on garlic mustard removal, and it's gonna be something that's gonna take years upon years to do. And then for the community center, park and grounds around here, and at Alice Park for the planters, we installed some, Justin, what do we call those things?
Just some, I guess, some, we call them like kind of automatic waterers or delayed waterers that,
Yeah, it's
Yeah, you
kind of, it looks like a filter, right, Justin?
yeah, it kind of, there's a kind of a plastic water container in the bottom, and then there's a kind of a felt wick that comes out that actually wicks the water out of that up to the roots of the plant. So we did those, I think, in all but one of our planters. We did all the ones at Alice Park and then all but one at the community center.
Yes.
We really, other than Alice Park and the community center, we really don't have that many others around, do we?
Nope,
I
those are,
think that's the only ones we have.
Those are the only places with annuals in. And typically they were like petunias and other things, but Dawn had a good time putting some natives in there, this year, so, yeah. All right. Let's see, so for Orinoco Park, Paul, have you heard much about the Xcel Energy transmission line? Yeah, he's like,
Well, it came about last fall. Or
Okay.
It must have been, I remember it was in December. They brought it to a meeting, I believe it was I can't remember, it was November or December. That there's so many, they need to upgrade this big power line going across here, the north side over here. And in order to upgrade it, they need a place for that. There's a 364 down one side, a 161 down the other side. They want to make them two 364s, but in order to do that, they have to run another 161 towards Rochester from that substation at Pine Highland.
Well,
And it got voted in that coming down across our lake bed was an option.
okay,
The city council agreed to that.
they did?
the Orinoco City Council agreed.
Orinoco City Council
Good
agreed that could be an option.
Oh, that could be an
Because-
option, but not a for sure thing.
Because the power company says that, the energy commission, state energy commission, whatever it is, has to have two options. And that was one of the options that the city
I
council
wasn't forced
agreed
to,
to.
come up with another option because
Well,
that just doesn't make any sense.
well, they had one option of going down the, west side of, what's the town, New Haven Township.
Yeah,
And then they could have went out across this other power line
yeah,
or alongside it.
The CapEx
Yeah, they-
2020.
they can follow the same path that got them right down to the Rochester substation. They, I don't know, and I'm just gonna voice my opinion, we battled this when they were talking about this many years ago, or when they were talking about bringing a train right down 52 right through the heart of our town. The highway already splits our town, we don't need a 161 or 345 line coming right down the middle. I don't care if it's right along the highway, it just, and then this is just my opinion, but I understand, I worked for the park, I worked for the co-op. I understand power, but there's other places they could run it. Cause when you start running it down there, then you're gonna start interfering with people on both sides of the highway, especially the people that are right out there along First Street, Center Street. I mean, I don't know,
Well,
anyway, I'm just voicing my opinion, and granted, it got brought up here, and I don't know,
Anyway, what else did you need to know about it?
yeah.
Where are they at with it?
I have no idea. That's up to the,
Right, I do believe Ryland did go to some meeting recently.
he may have, I wasn't aware of it.
Oh, yeah, he may have some updates.
They're in the very early process, went to the meeting in St. Paul.
Yeah,
They're in the very early process of doing stuff and doing hearings, so that's.
it's being
Nothing's
discussed.
really
Yeah.
there yet, it's
Yeah.
all just
Yeah,
super.
there's-
No, it sounded like it was a,
Yeah,
it
there's-
sounds like it was a couple year process to even get that far. to where they-
I think so, it was a big,
It's a long ways out, it's just one of those, they're starting the hearing, starting in public opinion, starting.
well, yeah.
all that stuff.
I just, I think for the city's, for
Yeah.
the city's sake, we need to make sure that we are on top of that, those kinds of meetings, or when those public hearings work their way down this area to make sure we got full-blown representation and understanding of what they're gonna do and where they're gonna go, so we.
Well, it'll look like just what come down through Zumbrota.
Mhm.
That up along 52, they're going through Zumbrota. It looked the same as that, so.
Yeah.
Do we want that running through our park? Pardon to me, as far as I'm concerned, no.
Right, okay,
No,
all right,
I didn't want it to be an option.
no,
right?
Well, all I say is when you give somebody, see, that's the shortest route for. 'em. And when they chose, And when they agreed to that could be an option, you know, doggone well, that's the option they're gonna choose, and they just, you know, not in favor of it.
No,
Well, and what I don't understand for sure is how much control, I mean, a city should have control of what comes through their city, but how much do they really have,
Well, you'd like to think so,
right?
but you have to remember, public hearings are just formalities.
I know, right? That's true. That's true. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anybody make it to Music in the Park last night?
no, I missed it. We got back late from them.
Right? I was doing yard work coming back.
I was
Being
mowing,
gone
I
for a
was
while.
mowing, but right
Yeah,
up
right?
until I
You were
got back.
moving too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we were busy yesterday, so
Right.
I forgot all about it, and then I saw your text and it's like, it's
Nope,
not gonna
not
happen.
Too
happening.
late in the day.
Yeah,
How about you, Jason? Did you hear anything about last night's?
I have not.
You didn't? Okay. All right. And then, as far as anyone knows, the trails are still happening on the previous lake bed. So the city is maintaining those, so that's good. At Garden Park, Justin, how are things going with the bluebird houses?
I haven't been down there for a few weeks, but they were occupied, but not by bluebirds.
Yep, somebody's
Um,
using.
Yeah. How is Orinoco Park fared through our rains we've had? I know River Park's been, you know, underwater for a bit. How did Orinoco Park in that area down there fare?
Does anyone know?
I think it got up above or right up to the wall,
Yeah,
and it might have got into that little tiny playground down there, maybe, I don't.
I don't know if it got up, I don't know if it got past the wall.
Huh?
Yeah, Gabe didn't say anything about that one. The big one was River Park.
Okay,
All the damage and stuff, so.
okay. Yeah, I had that, we were out of town, I didn't,
I know I looked at it one day and it was about 4 or 5 feet off the retaining wall down there.
okay.
So it was,
The lake was almost back.
it was over the retaining wall?
No,
or
it wasn't
almost-
quite to it.
Almost, to it. Okay.
Yeah, wasn't there yet.
So Justin, that's what I was gonna ask you about. What's the flood damage like at River Park? I heard, Renee told me that they have it gated off.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty muddy. Obviously all of the wood chips that are under the playground are gone. I think they were going to be down just checking the structural, if there's any structural damage to the playground, before they open it. I know, just looking at some of the pictures, the fencing around the tennis court, I think it was there, but it was just full of junk.
Yeah,
We were down there a couple of days, before the big rains hit, and the water was already high. So my wife and I moved one of the picnic tables up to the gazebo
oh, well, thank you.
to try to keep it from getting washed away. And from the aerial pictures, it looked like it was still by the gazebo. So
Was it a wooden one?
they just said, no, it was one of the metal ones.
Okay.
But we had one of those walk away a couple of years ago.
Oh,
When one of the ones that were concreted in, I think the water got up underneath it and moved it downstream. I don't know if anybody ever found it. So,
So we have metal picnic tables down there that are not on the concrete?
correct. I think
Interesting.
there's 2 of them.
That are not attached to the cement slab.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think Kane has been replacing them.
Oh, okay, so that's
They're
some,
replacing some of the old wooden ones.
the wood with metal, okay.
I remember he had a budget to do some, and I think he used his budget towards the end of the year to cover some of them out, where he's make his budget float.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they look really nice. They're a really nice looking picnic table compared to the wood ones. I mean, you got to restain them every so often or reseal them every so often. So, I mean, if it's something they want to do, I support that. But they look really good. We just got to keep them in the park and not let them wash downstream.
No kidding, right? I don't know if there's well, let's just hope this flooding can be done now, but who knows?
Well, for this year,
Hope so,
Hope so, we've had enough rain.
right?
Another inch coming tonight, so.
yeah,
Not wrong. Well, I do have to tell you, in our neighborhood across the way, it was very impressive how the water just followed the trails that my husband and son mow in our subdivision land.
no,
And it was, I thought that was pretty impressive. It did not come into the open field area, so that was good. but it's still definitely high. I saw a log almost the size of this room, just go downstream. And I'm just it just kept coming. Anyways, all right, so at this time, I don't know that we have much, well, Jason, have you heard much about T-ball at Memorial Park? Is it going good this year?
Done, aren't they?
Probably.
Yeah, I thought they were done.
I don't know if they.
I don't know how long they go for.
But you haven't heard any complaints or anything else? It's all good?
I'm guessing if it went like last year did, they did end it the week of the 4th of July. So maybe they'll have it tomorrow, maybe. That's how it was last year.
Oh, okay,
Um,
they just, and then they're done after July 4th?
That's how it was last year.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, so coming up in August, we are gonna have possibly some people coming from the neighborhood near River Park Place Southeast. Justin, does that sound familiar to you?
River Park Place Southeast.
Yeah.
I just know it as River Park if it's the same subdivision, but.
Okay. So I think their concern is that a trail might be going over some private property. Is that accurate, Jason? You don't know yet.
I don't know. That's somewhere years ago, there was an idea that somebody had, and they put it on a map as a possibility, a wish, a hope, and a dream. And that has somehow carried through. I don't even remember where I found that or where it was found, but has been found by a citizen, and they're concerned about it, because I'm rightfully so looking at the land, there's not a lot of space back there along the river where this park is, or this trail is dotted on this map to go. So they have a lot of concerns about this. It's also kind of not in a area where you would think there's a trail. I think the land is sloped and it just doesn't make sense. And so this neighborhood is concerned about this because they don't want this running through their backyard. So
Is this the trail there's kind of
it comes
a
off of
mode trail that just
What's
kind of
that?
runs off of River Park, the actual park itself? Is this that trail they're talking about?
When it comes off the tennis courts, maybe?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm
Jason's looking.
looking on Google Earth here, but yeah, I think it's that one that kind of comes off the north end of that river park there.
Okay.
Along the river, in the grass, and then it,
Yep.
So it's
I
kind
mean,
of,
because you can walk that up maybe, I don't know, maybe 100 yards now, and then it just stops.
yeah,
So-
where it stops, it looks like on a map, a future map. Or a map from the past, presenting the future, there was a plan
Yeah.
to take that all the way around the back of those houses.
Yep.
Loop it
Yeah.
along there. And connect it in, further to the west into the development by like maybe the area of Third Street Southeast and Second Avenue Southeast,
Yep.
kind of in that corner.
Well, the city has one within River Park. Beginning at the first part of River Park, there's a 15-foot easement along the river.
Okay, well,
The
their
city has
concern
that.
is, and I'm looking at it, it does not look like a place you would ever put a trail. Cause it's sloped land, I mean,
Well, I'm questioning, I didn't know they didn't put a trail in there to start with. I know there was
Well,
a lot
they
of
would-
controversy to start with about it.
yeah, and there was, I remember there was
And then
some
Charlie
kind of
Wright
talk,
really
but there
fought
was,
up and down for it.
yeah, and I think, I don't know, what they were saying is, yeah, I'm more so than just a real walking trail, people pull their kayak over against that and step out on it as long as they're, inside that 15 foot to the water, they're safe.
Well, if it's really steep, maybe it's something that's washed out since River Park.
Oh, yeah.
developed.
and I
Well,
haven't
yeah.
down personally to watch this, everything I've looked is kind of like from the Google Earth view, but it does not look.
No, the landscape along there after I've kayaked that several times, the back of those lots, it's more like, it's not like their lots just slope right into the river. It comes down and there's kind of steep banks all along the back of there that,
And I'm just looking for reassurance that there's not gonna be a trail.
yeah.
Yeah, we've literally never talked about this ever in my time there. I mean, we've never talked about putting a trail in there.
No, I think
Before,
that
so-
when they first started, Jack started building that subdivision before any houses, start mapping it all out. There was talk about that, you know.
Yeah,
Gate, but, once the houses started going in and we saw the landscape of the land.
Yep.
Then, I don't foresee it ever happening, but
yeah, it's just a concern they have, but it's not really anything we're worried about
I understand that.
doing. So I get it.
Meet with Ryland and me, and they're looking for verification for sure, and I don't know, this was all before my time, and I've talked with them, and I'm like, I don't think this will happen, this doesn't look feasible, and it's not
Yeah.
something that I think should be done in my personal opinion, just because the way the land is, it doesn't make sense. I've been on hundreds of thousands of trails, and that doesn't look ideal for any kind of
Yeah.
trail.
No, I would agree, but I can see where the residents, they would like something concrete.
Yeah.
So they can just put their mind at ease,
Oh, yeah.
and that's something for the,
I question if it's on their abstracts.
I don't know.
Because where else would they know that? How else would they know that?
Yeah.
Because that was the discussion in 2006
Yeah.
when they were developing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so you guys are saying 2006, the email talks about 2012 to 2020 or something.
Did River Park that late? I thought it was earlier, not
It was,
earlier.
it was earlier than that when they built it.
Or the map is a February 2012 zoning map.
Well, yeah, it is a 2012 zoning map.
Yep.
We could go back to 2006, I think.
But that's the one that they found publicly that's out there that's the only one I've been able to find with anything on
It's
it.
2012.
Yeah, the one that they've got, and so that's where their concern is coming from, and I haven't seen anything different, newer that said, would say, no, it's not, that's just the map that's there.
Sure.
So,
So they're also referring to what does FLUP stand for again? FLUP?
give me some context.
It says
Yeah.
they reviewed,
Future land.
Future land use plan.
yes, so the future land use planning document from July 21 of 2020 is what's concerning them right now because it says a future bituminous pathway. So, but yeah, so they're gonna keep visiting and keep exploring more information and then possibly come visit with us in August. So, I'm not exactly sure what I guess Parks and Trails involvement would just be to say,
Yeah, what can we do? I mean,
you know,
so yeah, we support you, that we're not gonna put this trail in unless it's actually taken off that future land use.
Review the board, make a recommendation to council that this be removed
Yeah,
as a future land.
yeah, and that's, that probably be.
Go wander around down through there and look at it close.
Because bottom line is, if you even look at River Park, and you walk to the river's edge, it's sloped. Now you take from the water's edge 15 feet back or 15 feet in, and you try to put a trail there, and you'd have to have massive, riprap on the bank side, and then you'd have to probably have it on the upsides of the trail just to hold the trail there. And the expense of that would be atrocious, and how are you gonna get all that equipment in to build that?
The hillside, you'd have to.
A lot of that's right here. There's a bend in the river that would eat them first three.
Oh, yeah, and that would be, I don't know, I would recommend that I don't know where you would start, but recommend whether it's the Roll River Park subdivision or whatever, or I don't know where, to just come to the council and ask to have a motion be made to remove that from the map.
or make sure that it just stays wild.
They, in theory,
First, we gotta find the map with it on it.
yeah, I don't, yeah,
No, I don't have it in front of me.
yeah.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just something that I can certainly understand. In theory, yeah, would it be cool to have a trail, but for the city to try to expend that, that would be an atrocious amount of money to try to build it and then try to hold it there.
Well, we've been
Just
having a
due to
hard,
those, the floods that we have, I mean.
yeah, we've been having a hard enough time keeping the trail up to Cedar Woodlands.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Justin, is that trail looking good right now, or did that get flood issues too?
My wife said it came up quite a ways. The trail's fine, but it's just muddy.
Okay.
So that all got rebuilt after the last one, right?
Yeah,
I guess I'm not familiar with what happened down here.
Yeah, the riprap that we put in from the last flood appears to have done its job. Yeah.
Yeah,
you've lived in that neighborhood how long?
10 years.
And you've seen it flood probably 3 times more?
3 or 4 times. It's dang near every other year, it seems like.
So crazy,
What
so
last
crazy.
year?
Right? Not last year, right?
Not last year, but the year before it did.
no,
And
Oh my gosh, all right,
it's a beautiful park and trail, though, that's for sure.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, I can't believe I'm saying this, but our next meeting would be August 5. Can't believe I'm saying August when it's July 1st, but that's how it goes. Is there anything else that anyone else would like to visit about today?
Well, something to probably look into is is the parkland ordinance for development.
Oh, you want to review that?
Yeah, we should review
Okay.
that, because this is parks and trails.
Yeah.
If I recall, it's a 10% ordinance, it's 10% of the property or cash in lieu of. It comes to the park, it comes to the city upon the sale of each lot.
You know,
And what is Hamilton Group requesting right now? Just the trail? Not an actual park,
Well,
right?
they're putting in some kind of a trail, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he had some kind of a trail on that map that he took with him,
That
but,
is extending to,
but it's gotta be a better, little bit better map and actually,
see, we don't need more parkland, we got plenty to take care of now.
yeah.
But
But
we need cash in lieu of to maintain other parks, and that means for parkland in that space, it could be used.
well, yeah, and
Part of that trail could be part of it.
yeah, I would think that if however they're gonna build this subdivision, you know, there's definitely gotta be a park trail that goes and connects without taking them up into that subdivision, you know, it can somehow just connect to the trail itself, just down from that roundabout, or that,
Well, you know,
not the roundabout, the
You
dead.
take the size of the development, you need to figure out the size of how much property that the trail's actually gonna take, what percentage of that is it
Yeah.
10%? If it isn't 10%, then the rest of it's on the sale of the properties for cash in lieu of to the city. For parks and trails.
And I think it's just a one-time thing too. It's not-
Right.
Yep, one time deal,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Would this trail that they're proposing, is that trying to be
I
a
would-
part of,
I would like to think that probably would be part of it.
right?
Maybe that's where.
A concern that I have as a kind of a resident of this area is that our park, River Park, is not, it's a beautiful park. It's not a big park.
Yeah.
The playground is not that big. And I mean, we're essentially going to be bringing in, you know, another large population of people that want to use that park. So it would be nice if we do get some money from them to put that towards possibly expanding River Park and making, you know, the actual playground section larger than it currently is. Would be, I think that would be something.
Well, there's only so many acres down there, so I guess I'm not sure what you call the playground section, Justin.
Just a playground where the swing sets, you know, where kids actually get on and play. It's, you know, it's not, it fits, you know, it's, when my daughter was younger, you get down there and with the people that we had down there at that time, I mean, it would be really busy. And then if we're gonna, you know, have another large subdivision worth of, you know, potential kids, I just don't think it's gonna be big enough to service all three of these larger subdivisions.
Sure.
Um,
Well,
Understand your concern.
yeah, so maybe they need to redraw their subdivision down there and create
Well, you know,
a park.
one thing he's talking about too is basically there's not enough equipment.
yeah, that's, you know, it's got a pretty decent sized footprint.
Right.
River Park does, but it just, you know, the actual playground is not that large. I mean, we got stuff, we got the tennis court and the basketball courts, but for little kids, smaller kids to play on, I just don't think that area is large enough to accommodate three larger subdivisions. And I get what Paul's saying. We don't really need another park to maintain, but can we expand? Can we make River Park, you know, a little bigger?
Justin, do you know the acreage footprint of that park?
I do not.
It's bigger than some of the others.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, it's
Just
smaller
like-
than Orinoco Park, obviously. I'd say, I don't know.
Where'd it go?
I don't know. It might be
Yes, because it's just section of the map.
it could be 2 acres, 2.5 acres, maybe.
Yeah, I would think
All
you're,
of that,
you're,
here's the trail going into it. This is the park right here. Just,
3 acres. I don't know.
it looks to me like with the trees and stuff back there, it's probably 6 or 7 acres.
Okay, with the trees, yeah.
Because all of that's trail. This is trail goes back behind there.
All right, definitely something to figure out.
Look at.
yeah, I appreciate all that information, Justin, because.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, that's been my concern, kind of like looking at this from a committee member when I've been listening to Hamilton talk, and I just see all these potential townhomes and multifamily dwellings and large single homes, and I'm thinking, well, geez, that's just going to be more people that are going to be down there. And there's, a nice summer day. It's sometimes hard to get your kid in there and actually let them play because there's so many people down there. But I know a lot of the people in our area a lot of the kids in our area are getting bigger and, maybe not using that playground as much, but
Yeah.
everybody's always having young children. So,
Yeah, families come and go.
yes, they do.
It's four parking spaces.
I would, maybe 6,
Yeah, I was thinking closer, maybe 6
but rarely do you see cars there. It's all families that typically walk down.
yeah, I would say possibly 6, 5 to 6 maybe as the max parking spaces, but a lot, like you said, a lot of people walk down or bike down, but when you start getting, if that goes through and you get multi-housing down there by Second Avenue, and then they get on a trail and go down there, I mean, that's gonna be a lot more people.
That's good hiking.
Yeah.
You'll be tired by the time we get there.
People probably aren't gonna necessarily be walking it as much as the ones who live right by.
Right.
You're gonna have people trying to drive there, and if there's no parking to adequately support the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, parking's a big thing on it.
Yeah, and then, but then down there, I mean, it's a beautiful park and to try and use any more, I would use more space that you had to expand the playground versus trying to
Is that,
build a parking, any more parking down
I
there.
haven't been down there a while. Is that blacktop parking in there?
Yeah, and it's blacktop trail all the way down.
I've been down there a
Black-
few times, but
It's nice, it's a beautiful park, I mean, but like Justin has a point, it's the playground stuff, I mean, it's nice. I remember when we put it in, it's nice stuff, but it's small, it's not, you could use
Didn't get that
more
stuff
stuff.
out either.
No, I know it didn't. Anyway,
All right. Well, at this time, I would like to make a motion to adjourn at 7:58.
I'll second it.
All right, Paul, second. And all in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign.
I did it in less than an hour,
I know, look at that.
and I was late.
Bye, Justin.
Bye.
All right. See you guys later. Have a good one. Be safe. Have a safe 4th of July.
You too. All right. Yeah, so Paul, you had to come from across